My name is Seth Mandell. I am the father of Koby Mandell. My son Koby and his friend Yosef Ishran were murdered by terrorists in a cave not far from our home. They went out one day to explore this canyon. We live in a place called Tekoa, but not far from Jerusalem. They were trapped in a small cave by 4 or 5 Palestinian terrorists and beaten to death with boulders the size of bowling balls. Obviously, our lives changed from that moment. One of the things that we wanted to do, we created something called the Koby Mandell Foundation to both create programs for children and mothers who were affected by terror, who lost immediate family members of terror. And we did a lot of programming and speaking and other issues that would bring Koby's name to the fore so that people would remember him. I say that the world lost a tremendous amount of good. When Koby was killed, he would have had friends, he would have had a profession, he would have helped people. And our part of the job of the Koby Mandell Foundation is to replace the power of that one child, which was taken from the world, was stolen for the world when he was 13 years old. One of the things that happened was we got a call from Sarah Stern not too long after Koby was killed, and she was working on a bill in Congress to create a separate unit within the Justice Department to make sure that the American government was monitoring and prosecuting, if possible, perhaps even extraditing from other countries, terrorists who had killed Americans over the course of the years. She asked if we would be willing, or suggested we would be willing to have that bill called after the name of my son. Of course, that's one of the things that we wanted to do. We want people to remember him. We want people to know what happened to him. And the bill, which finally did pass, was called the Koby Mandell Act. And it created a separate department within the Justice Department to go after this population of murderers of Americans overseas because of terror. It's called the Office of Justice for Victims of Terror. We are really grateful to Sarah. We knew her when we were in Silver Spring. We were grateful for Sarah to thinking of us, to thinking of Koby, and to name the bill after him. It continues to have reverberations. People say sometime to us, "Oh, that your son was the one whose the bill was named after." So it really has a connection to my son, which is very important. Who wouldn't want to have a bill in Congress named after him? We're sorry that that's why it was, but we're very pleased that Sarah took the initiative to reach out to us and to get the bill done in Koby's name. Despite Sarah's best efforts and our own best efforts, the Office of Justice for American Victims of Terror has been singularly disappointed. We have not found them to be helpful in any way. We have met with them a couple of times. We put together a group of people who lost immediate family members to terror here in Israel at the beginning, maybe 14, 15 years ago. We met with about 6 people. They've been back a couple of times. We haven't heard from them in many, many years. I don't think they're doing anything, frankly. I think that for whatever reason, particularly in the arena of Palestinian terror, and probably for political reasons, they have made a policy decision, whether it's them, whether it's the Department of Justice, whether it's the administration. They've made a strategic decision not to, in fact, include Palestinian murderers in the area where they're going after. So it's been singularly disappointing. My wife actually is starting a small organization of people who have Americans who have lost family members to terror, to try to instigate some kind of movement on their part. So that hasn't happened yet. We're hopeful that something will happen if we push Congress and we push the American government and the Justice Department to do something. And I'm sure that Sarah, who we've been in touch with about this, will be helping us with that. Well, I think there's two or three things. I think, first of all, I know that there are terrorists who have been released in various prisoner release programs. One of which my wife protested personally, in a group of 50 or more people in front of the Prime Minister's house, who were released, who are in fact murderers, who in fact drove the suicide bomber to the venue at one point, who have done other things. I think the first thing that I would like to do is that for the Justice Department to go after those people, prosecute them, bring them back to America, and bring them to court. I think that would be the first thing. I think that there's been almost no monitoring of the situation. We have not heard from the Justice Department as to what happened to the murderers of Koby and Yosef. They have not been caught. They've never been in touch with, or for years, it's been years, if they were ever in touch with us, saying that we were in touch with the Israeli authorities and they've told us X, Y, and Z. That has not happened. I'd like for them, not only in our case, but in other cases as well, to be in touch with people who lost family members and say, we know that this is going on and that's going on, and here's what you can do, or here's what we can do, here's what we are doing. Any of those kinds of things, any relationship building possible by them. I'd like to see that as well. And thirdly, of course, I'd like to see them put some pressure on the various governments, particularly the Israeli government, to try to get some movement on these things, both in terms of the prisoner released people and in terms of those people who have not been found, like my son's murderers. I think all of those three things would all be, any one of them would be far and away more than has been done in terms of our case up to now. And it would be tremendous if we can get them to do a little bit of work that they were created to do through Sarah's work and through the Koby Mandell Act.